Greetings from North Bay, Ontario, Canada. The venue, the host city for the Ford World Women's Curling Championships 2018. It's late in the winter, spring is in the air, but the last chance to have a bit of a snowplow down the hill and then the ice fish on Lake Nipissing. Better check the ice, it's getting a bit warmer out there. But we're going to be inside at the Memorial Gardens, the North Bay Memorial Gardens, the venue for this Ford World Women's Curling Championship. As we welcome the teams into the venue for this afternoon's draw. Our feature game in session number 16 is China versus Italy. Getting late in the round robin now. Teams are jockeying for position in the playoffs. Let's meet our teams for today. Team China at lead is Yan Hui. Playing at second, Zheng Jindi. At third is Wang Rei. And at skip, Zheng Yilun. For Italy today, Chiara Olivieri is at lead. Stefania Constantini is at second. Veronica Zapponi is at third. From Team Italy is skipped by Diana Gaspari. Here are the standings. Canada and Sweden have already qualified for the 16 playoffs, followed by Korea, Russia, the Czech Republic, United States, Japan, China at 3 and 6. They need to win out from here to have a hope of making the top 6. Denmark, Switzerland, Scotland, Italy, and Germany round out the standings. We'll keep an eye on all of the games for you here in session 16. Our feature match, China versus Italy. Denmark takes on the United States on sheet B. On sheet C, Germany takes on the Czech Republic, a big game for the Czechs. Switzerland takes on Korea on sheet D. Teams exchanging handshakes. Hans Frauenlaub, and I'm joined by Sander Rolvag. Sander, it's been a long week, 12-game round robin. Italy out of the playoff picture, China with a faint glimmer. What do you think they'll take into this game this afternoon?
Well, can't really think too much about the playoffs now. It's all about winning some games. I think for China, it's a stepping stone. Big goal for them is probably the Olympic Games in Beijing in 2022. Young team, so just try and climb that ranking. Maybe a medal in the future. This week looking very tough. Maybe a theoretical chance of the playoffs, but highly unlikely. For Italy, bronze at the European Championship, but they were very close to qualifying for the Olympics. They were hoping to probably do better here, but to still finish on a high note with a couple of wins.
And they've had some very close games. Every time you've looked over at Team Italy, they've been in close games, late games, extra end games. So I'm expecting a game with a lot of rocks in play, and it should be very entertaining. Athletes are taking their final warm-up slides before this match. It's been an intriguing week, as we expect, at this top level of international curling. Sweden and Canada, they met last evening. Canada won that battle of the unbeatens with quite a convincing victory, as it turned out, over Olympic gold medalist Sanna Hasselborg. Team Italy not looking too nervous before this one. Italy will have last rock in the first end by the virtue of the better last stone draw. China will play the red stones, and Italy will be playing the yellow stones. Zheng Yilun tapping the button, looking for this one in the house. Lead player is Yan Hui. You're right, Sandra. This is a very young team, China. China have won the World Women's Curling Championship in the past. Wang Bingyu. also an Olympic medalist. I think you're right. China building for the future. They've got their eyes on hosting the Olympics in 2022. This is a great learning experience for this young team.
Well, Wang Bingyu picked up that gold you mentioned in 2009 and then medaled the next year at the Olympics.
Italian lead. Giada Olivier.
Maybe the Chinese team could do the same. Build up for a couple of years here, medal at the Worlds, and just top their form. And they come home to play in Beijing.
Well, the bar keeps lifting, doesn't it? And you saw at the recent Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. Korea really invested in the development of their top players, and it paid off for them in the form of a silver medal for their women's team, Team Kim, who are competing here this week.
Actually have an interesting battle at the lead position today. Just because Yan Hui and Angela Romay are both at the very bottom of the standings as a lead.
Olivier trying to remove this stone. Spills off the rings.
My apologies, of course, Olivieri in that lead. But then maybe that is a good thing, because Romay has struggled this week.
Zhang Xindi, 21 years of age, been playing for 10 years already. Good opportunity for Team China to find their draw weight here in the first. If you are brand new to our sport, last rock is an advantage. Basic strategy of curling. If you've got last rock, you're wanting to score 2 or more points with it. If you don't have last rock, you're trying to prevent your opponent from scoring 2 or more points. That's the basics of curling strategy. Here's Stefania Constantini, 18 years old.
Perhaps a future skip for Italy. Did skip the junior team, the B World Junior Championships in Lohja, Finland, just after New Year's.
Nice shot there by Constantini. Here are the rules of play. It's a 10-end game, but 6 ends must be played at a minimum. Each team has 38 minutes of thinking time. Each team has 1 60-second timeout. A bright future for Stefania Constantini, and not a lot of young athletes here this week. At 18 years of age, she's not even the youngest player in the field here this week. That honor belongs to Japan's Arisa Kotani, 17. I think you're right, Sander. Diana Gaspari, an enormous amount of experience skipping the Italian women's team, and almost a mentor for Stefania. I'm sure she will learn enormous amounts this week about competition at this level. Looking to stick around the rings. Hits half a rock, spills. Nothing in play. Here's Wang Rui.
Gaspari broke through to the curling scene herself with a silver medal at the 2006 European Championship, and she was only 20 at the time. So you kind of feel like she's a veteran, but she's only 33. She's been around forever.
Started young and had success young. That stone through the rings. Maybe a chance here for Italy to go over on the wings and get it near to that only rock in play on the left-hand side of our screen. Maybe set up a jam of some kind. Get a force. Veronica Zapponi. Italian, one of the most musical of all languages. Nothing better than listening to Italian weight communications as the stone's coming down the ice. Comes into the back of the 12-foot circle. Wang Rui has a very recent Olympic experience. She was the female player in the Chinese mixed doubles team at the recent Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. They ranked 4th. They had a very good Olympics. Spills just off the rings. It's her teammate Badishin. There's Wang Rui. So a better chance now if Italy can get one over on the wings. That stone in the back might be a jam candidate. I'd like to get somewhere in the neighborhood of that backstone, stay in front of it on a good angle. That's a very nice shot. Great shot. By throwing it in the neighborhood of their own stone, what they do is they increase the risk that Zheng Yilun, in trying to remove it, jams it on the stone behind it and leaves the Italian stone on the rings. That's the tactic for a free shot.
Positives for Zheng Yilun as she's been very solid with the upweight game. The takeouts, the draws that she's been struggling with all week.
Here's Zheng Yilun. She does jam, so that corner draw pays off for the Italians. One stone in the rings, and now they can draw the other side and set up the force. We call it a force when you force your opponent to take a single point with last rock. So the stones way off on the wings that weren't on the rings looked a bit inconsequential, but very nice draw by Zapponi and a jam by Zheng Yilun, and all of a sudden Italy has a chance to force. This Italian team always fan favorites. There was a contingent in here last evening supporting them that included an accordion player, which is something you don't see at every curling event, but added a little bit of atmosphere. Diana Gaspari. Wants to get this to the tee line. Take away any chance of a long cross-house double takeout. Good looking stone here. Want to bring it as deep as they can. Possible cross-house double, but it'll just be a hit and stick for one. I'm pretty certain you'd be really, really brave to try to make a deliberate play to go cross-house. Certainly wants to roll in the neighborhood, though, of the Italian stone, trying to make it a tough two. Oh, whoa, immediately. Want to stick around. And they do. Nice shot. But nice opportunity here for Italy here in the first end. Cash in a pair. Zhang just looking on. Gaspari with the draw on her first shot, now an open hit for two. A bit of an unusual situation for Team Italy. We've mentioned in the opening that they've had a lot of come from behind games where they've trailed and made fantastic comebacks, not always winning the game, but almost always bringing it down to the last rock. Haven't had the luxury of a lead very often in games, but a great chance here to break on top. Nicely played by Gaspari. It is 2 points for Italy. No risk deuce there for the Italians after one end of play. It's Italy 2 and China no score. Curler of the future enjoying the action here at the North Bay Memorial Gardens. This will be a memorable occasion. You can say they saw the best curlers in the world here in this city of about 50,000. About a 5-hour drive north of Toronto. Yeah.
Pretty close up, too.
Yeah, best seat in the house, really.
A little bit tougher to see the house in the other end, but certainly some great action from a couple of feet away, coming to this house.
Wonderful experience. It's been nice fan support all week. It's the afternoon session here in North Bay. Yan Hui.
哇！
China with last rock here on the second end, throwing up the corner guard.
We see the inconsistency again from Yan Hui. A lot of ways big misses from her, but just never in the perfect spot, just a little bit off. That's a very wide corner guard. Sometimes throwing the center off the line too long. Just needing to focus a little bit more. Maybe not only the thrower, but the sweepers and the skip as well, where to ice, how to sweep them. Just to get these setup shots in the right spot, because if you don't get them there, you're on the back foot trailing already from the very start of the ends.
Rock placement so important at the lead position. That really ramped up in the 1980s with the introduction of the free guard zone rule. It's where you can throw a stone between the rings and the hog line, the first 4 stones of the end, and your opponent can't remove your shot.
So there's barely any house to draw to behind that corner, and playing a hit roll off of those yellows, very long roll to get there. You're almost rolling out of the house if you try and make it.
the ideal location for a corner guard, Sandra? Probably just about edge of the 8-foot, half the 8-foot.
Kind of just in the middle of the Ford logo, or
Right.
a rock higher, maybe.
Attempted freeze here for China, trying to come to the Italian stone in the back of that white 8-foot circle. Just nudges it and bumps off. So again, just a fraction off there for Yang Hui. Look from the thrower's end, wide open. Stefania Constantini.
Want to be careful where you leave the shooter here as well. Don't want to leave a pocket.
It's the inside roll.
Yeah, it does roll. Leaves a bit of a wall there. Actually, more to freeze onto for China.
The benches. Here's Italian coach Soren Grun.
He's worked in quite a few countries now. World Junior Champion himself, 1982, went undefeated. Only one of 4 male skips to have done that, actually. But worked in Sweden and Scotland, Russia, so on and so forth. Lots of experience on the bench for Italy.
Chang Xin-di trying to draw to those stones in the back of the 8-foot. Sweeper's not laying a brush to it. They're wanting this one to pull over and draw. It's going to just, again, just a fraction full. You see the Chinese bench. And their head coach, Zhang Xiping. Stopwatch in hand. A similar shot for Constantini. To her first one. Nose hit, so a real pocket now for Team China to use. We'll update the other matches as we go. Let's take a look at Switzerland and Korea. Boy, pile of rocks in the rings and guards up the front. Final stone on its way for Switzerland's Binia Felcher. Double takeout, removes 2 check stones, and Switzerland will score 3. Wow, what a great start for them. Sets the cowbells ringing here at the North Bay Memorial Gardens. Fans from all around the world for this international event. China trying to draw to this pile of stones in the back of the 8-foot. It's going to come up a little bit short. Sits in that red 4-foot circle. China line 1. Probably enough room for Italy to hit a quarter of it and just drive it out the right-hand side as we're looking at our overhead. Gaspari is sizing up the angles for her third player, Veronica Zapponi.
Even if she takes out one of the back yellows here, actually would help Italy. Too many in there. Might be hard to do though.
Kicks it clean.
Just hoping for a little rub on the yells just to open up that pocket. It's a lot to draw to.
The time clocks in the background. It's the thinking time that the teams have to play all their shots. Big pocket for Wang Rui. Just a cozy one up right in that pile if she can. Just in front of it. This one is going to make some contact. It's going to bump. Just about a foot heavy. Not bad. But does leave a little gap. Conceivable. A bit risky, but Italy could try to chip it thin and push it out to the left, but that will send everything spilling. So a nose hit wouldn't be awful for Italy.
Tough to squeeze it out just because you have that Yellowstone top 12. I don't think you can get it thin enough. So
acting like a guard, isn't it?
Just nose hit. Kill the back yellow, try and sit on top.
Zapponi looking on intently as Oliveira and Constantini are on the brushes. They jam it. Leaves China lying one. Yellowstones belong to Italy. There's always the risk of the jam there, wasn't it, Sander?
Yeah, a lot of stuff to jam onto in the back. So this is kind of Italy's fault. They've been leaving too many shooters around in the back of the house.
Inviting pocket still for China.
Good thing for Italy is at least they've pushed that Redstone out in the open.
Stone in the front 8-foot circle is really acting as a guard. Wang Wei, see if she can make the adjustment from that first stone. She threw that one back 8-foot weight. We'll get a split time here. Hog to hog has been about 14.5 to get to T-line. Throughout the week, 14-1, it'll be in the neighborhood. Pretty good looking shot here. Slides just past the tee into the pile at the back, and China's lying two.
I'm not sure if you really needed to come all the way down there, though. It will leave Italy the same draw to come right on top. Would have been tempting to just maybe try and get that T-line behind that yellow. Still a lot of jam opportunities in the back. You kind of force Gaspari now to play that draw after you. If she makes it, and take those two reds in the back out of contention for score.
Seems like Diana Gaspari has been playing a lot of these kinds of shots this week, Sandra.
Well, she has a keen drawer.
Always lots of rocks in play when Team Italy is out there. Wang Wei Stone was 14.1 hog to hog. We'll run the clock on Diana Gaspari's draw as well. 14.1 took the Chinese stone to the back of the 8-foot. So 14.5-ish for the T line, 13.7, that's got plenty of weight. Now they're just worried about the line. They know it's going to come all the way to the back. Good shot.
Yep, pretty perfect. You're not going to be able to move that yellow anywhere.
Gaspari does it again.
That was a danger for China to come all the way down there.
Locks away the Chinese shots. Still a possible 2 for China. There's still room in the 4-foot area. They can make the freeze here. But a great freeze by Gaspari. Takes 3 out of the equation. Sweepers backing off. They think it's got lots of weight. And it does. This is sliding deep. Will she get contact? No, she doesn't. Goes right by the Italian stone into the back of the 12-foot. Sanders said she's had a little bit of difficulty with her draws this week. Coach Zheng can only look on. Looking at the opportunity lost, but a great chance here now for Italy to set up the force and great chance to steal Sanders.
Yeah, it's a huge difference in draws and takeouts for Yilun. 77% on all takeouts throughout the week, 61% on draws.
It's quite a difference, isn't it? Skips will be usually looking for shooting accuracy in the 80-plus range on draws, and so throwing draws in the 60s at the skip position is going to make it tough to compete at this level.
Gaspari is better on her draws, 72% for all draws, 66 for takeouts, so just again confirming that she does play the draws a little bit better. For most skips in this competition, their takeout game is slightly better than the draws.
Gaspari definitely does like to draw.
Got a good touch. Don't want to leave the forefoot for her. Or a chance to freeze something away. Did that with her first one. Now a chance to get in there for maybe a steal.
Trying to leave this one in the front of the forefoot. They want to get second shot. Good looking stone here. Can they get it there for second shot? Yes, they have. Nice shot. Italy lies too.
Yeah, that's good. Just not sure if that was a sweeper error or just a bit of a miscommunication, but would have been nice to have swept that a bit farther, just to close down that forfeit even more.
The right side of that red forefoot circle is available for Zheng Yilun. She'll need to get it full in that red forefoot circle to score a single point. Gaspari and Constantini comparing notes. Lots of rocks in play. Get used to seeing that this afternoon. Last rock of the second end is on its way for China's Zheng Yilun. Sweepers jumping it now. They're worried a bit more about the line, I think, than the weight. They're safely past that stone in the top. That is a very nice shot by China. Zheng Yilun puts it on the back of the button to score one. Good force for Team Italy, however. After two ends of play, it's Italy 2 and China 1. enjoying live curling from North Bay, Ontario, Canada. It's the Ford World Women's Curling Championships 2018. Feature match today is China taking on Italy. Hans Frauenlob here with Sander Ulvag on a Thursday afternoon. Spring is in the air in North Bay. It's been pretty chilly here this week in the minus 15 range, but quite sunny out there today, Sander. We saw the ice fissures in the opening, but that lake ice is going to be melting pretty soon, I'd say. Ice is nicely frozen here in the North Bay Memorial Gardens, however.
I'd still bring a coat.
It's not quite barbecue weather yet here in North Bay, that's true. Beautiful area though, and outdoor activities in Northern Ontario. They got harsh winters, but they embrace it. Lots of great snowmobiling, fishing, and short but enjoyable summers. Beautiful lakes in this area, camping, really nice.
I believe there's a lot of boating and nice trails and hikes.
Yeah, no doubt. This was actually the first really commercial highway in Canada, if you like, in the fur traders back in the 1700s. The canoe route from Montreal and Quebec in the eastern part of Canada, they could canoe their way west through North Bay because the connection point from the Montreal and Ottawa rivers into the Great Lakes. Here in North Bay, it's a very short distance, so they kind of paddle all the way up here and then carry their canoes across a short portage, and then they're off into the Great Lakes. So North Bay has always been a crossroads of commerce. Today it's railroads and highways. Back then, canoes and beaver pelts.
Giving a history lesson too.
There you go. Get a little bit of everything here on our curling broadcasts. After the force and two, the Italians have got last rock here in 3. Fortissimo, really hard, really loud, just taps. Can't quite wrap it around. An update from Switzerland, Korea. Oh, the Swiss are on fire. Took 3 in the first, and they're lying 3 now, so it's a draw against 3 for Kim Eun-jung, Olympic silver medalist. Korea sitting in playoff position in the standings right now, but they're going tough against the Swiss this afternoon. Switzerland's Vinja Felcher, 2-time world champions, and haven't gone particularly well this week, but they seem to be playing well this afternoon. Will that count for 1? I'm looking at it. And it is, in fact, a score of 1. Really used a lot of the house there, Sander. Had the entire 8-foot to draw to, and that one went right over to the wing, almost curled away from the scoring position.
Yeah, I was surprised they were playing to the wing. That was coming home. The draw shot challenge path could have drawn the button there. Should have known the speed, but hey, they're in it.
That's why they make the circles round, I guess. Just use all the area you can. Constantini. 2 Italian stones in the front, 12-foot. Chinese stones sitting in guard positions, but off the center line. So chance here for the Italians to tap one of their own stones forward and behind the guards. Here's the tap. Pretty nice shot there. Sits in the top 4-foot. Overlaps the front stones as well. Very nice shot. Italy lies 3. Zheng Xindi bringing the heat. Trying to remove at least one of these Italian stones and hopefully two. Bang. Kills 2 Italian stones. But unfortunately for China, her guard roll, her shooter roll 2 overlaps and creates an overlapped guard. Watch the roll on the delivered stone, just rolls a little bit to the right. That's offering perfect protection to that Italian stone in the rings. Great look at it here. No way for China to raise those back onto the Italian stone now. Sandra, I think that's one of the things in probably the last decade in curling that's, I think, really changed. Is that, back in the day, you had a rock in the rings, you threw a guard in front of it, a single guard, and that was pretty good. But the ability now of these athletes to control the rocks for runbacks means if you really want an effective guard, sometimes you need to have 2 stones overlapped so that your opponent can't run it back.
That's funny. Whenever Christopher Svang, the second for the Hulderud team, Norwegian Olympic team, was telling me when he went to juniors and they made a draw around the guard, they were thinking, yes, we've sunk one in there. And they were playing a team like Canada. They play the run back and stick it. And they would just think, wait, what? Is that allowed?
We did what we're supposed to do, right?
Can you do that? It was a new thing.
Yeah.
And it's just funny to look back and how that was. And now today it's just very normal, and you'll see players be upset if they're not able to stick the run back.
Well, that's a very nice touch shot there by China. They had to deal with that overlapped guard and done it beautifully. Opened up the path to the Italian stone, and they also promoted their own stone into second shot position behind guards. So if they could ever make a play on the Italian stone, good chance for them to get a force. Well, actually, yeah, force, maybe a steal, but probably a force. Veronica Zapponi. Sweeping to promote a little bit of curl here. We need some contact. This one has got some steam all the way through the rings. Big mistake there by Zapponi. Opens the door for Wang Rui. Some disappointment on her expression. She knows this really threatens their end. Let's see if China can capitalize on the Italian mistake. Looking for an inside roll, get some cover behind those guards. Not going to get it. But they avoid the jam and leave themselves lying 2 and roll a little bit further away from those guards. Lots of weight on that one, Sandra.
Yeah, I think that was a little overthrown. You can see the sweepers pointing up to the ceiling. Sometimes the most effective way of communicating the weight when there's a little bit of noise in the arena.
It's true. It's a great venue for curling here at the North Bay Memorial Gardens. Normally the home to the local junior ice hockey team, the North Bay Battalion. They're on the road for a week and a half, so it's curling taking over, but ideal for curling. Seating capacity about 4,000. We've had good lively crowds in here all week. So you're right. It's a bit noisy. Hand signals are way better than yelling.
Yeah, I think the acoustics are pretty good, but it's just the crowds are making a lot of noise.
Yeah. When it's your voice against 4,000 voices, you're usually going to lose. Chinese third, Wang Rui. Holding the target. Zhang Yilun. Let's see if she can make the roll this time. Gaspari and Costantini discussing what the ice conditions are doing. They'll do that right throughout the game, won't they, Sander? Constant communications about what this path or that path is doing.
Well, they should, anyway.
Yeah, we could also be talking about what's for dinner tonight, but far more productive to keep your focus on the ice. There's the inside roll, but I don't know if it's going to stick around. It's going to spill all the way to the left and stays in the rings. I've seen that a couple of times from Team China, actually sweeping behind their stone. I'm not sure what they think that's going to accomplish in terms of slowing it down, but I've seen that a couple of times this week.
I see a few teams doing that. I don't think it's going to do much, though.
Perhaps cleaning the path for the tiny spin back that they think it's going to get at the very end.
I think that's the plan.
That's the theory.
But you gotta realize that the cup of the stone actually touches the ice is quite tucked underneath the rocks. So
quite a long
very hard to
way
get
from
to.
your brushes,
Yeah, exactly.
Gaspari. Into her favorite shot, the draw. The duck behind cover. Sits somewhere in front of that Italian stone. This one is gliding as well, though it's going to slide deep. Will it stay in the rings? Will it stay in the rings? No, it is all the way through. I'm surprised there. Let's look in at Denmark versus the United States in a very important game for the USA's Jamie Sinclair and co. They are in the frame for the playoffs. Denmark not so, but every win from here a must win for Team USA. Sinclair worried about the guard stone. No problem there. Well past it. Nicely done. 2 points for the USA, and they lead that one by a score of 2-0. Big game for them, Sander.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be quite keen to follow the Olympic success of Team USA in Pyeongchang. Just build on the momentum and the fans watching at home now. Curling getting a huge boost from the US of A.
Chamberlain throwing a nice stone in here to lie 3. You spoke with Jamie Sinclair about that earlier this week, didn't you?
Yeah, I was just asking if it was more of an inspiration or if it was added pressure. Maybe fans at home are expecting now every US team to win. But she seemed to focus more on the inspiration part. It was very inspiring to see them win, namely the US men team, skipped by John Schuster. And they've been wanting to take that inspiration into this week and try and do the same. I think not only the US teams have taken inspiration from them, actually many teams with a bad record at the start of the week will be looking at the Schuster team saying, well, if they went 2-4 and then won gold, we can do it too.
Exactly right. Never give up. We'll take a look at the split time on this crucial last stone draw of Diana Gaspari, facing 3. Heavy were her first one. We'll be looking at the 14.5 range, 14.1 at the split time at the hog line. So more than enough weight. Needs to come to rest in that red 4-foot circle. Comes to rest right on the button, right on the Ford logo for a single point. Diana Gaspari delivers again. Draws against 3. Italy now leading it 3-1 after 3. Enjoying live curling coverage here from North Bay, Ontario, Canada. It's the Ford World Women's Curling Championship 2018, our feature game. Italy versus China, and Italy enjoying a 3-1 lead as play begins in the fourth end. Jiang Yilun holding the target for her lead player, Yan Hui. And Sandra, there's an interesting China-Italy connection between Jiang Yilun and Italy that I learned about earlier in the week as Yan Hui, 87.8% of the tournament, throws the stone. She was interviewed about a range of things. One of the things that she was asked about, what's your favorite car? Jiang Yilun's favorite car is?
Ferrari.
A Ferrari. Long corner guard thrown up there by China again. You pointed out earlier, Sander, would have liked that guard tighter to the ring, because that's going to be difficult for China to use to generate offense. Rock placement by the leads, so important. Gianna Olivieri, 76% for the tournament. She's had a few games as the alternate. Teams bring 5 athletes, 4 players, and an alternate. They can change the playing 4 at any time. You can't reinsert a player into the game after you've substituted, but they can change the lineup between games. They can change the lineup during a game if they want to. All of the 5 athletes have equal standing.
Speaking of connection, I'll do you one better.
Okay, you'll see my Ferrari and raise me.
Diana Gaspari is born in San Candido, which hosts an annual ice and snow festival. And of course, this Chinese team being from Harbin, they have the biggest ice and snow sculpture festival in the world.
I still think the Ferrari wins.
That's
a good one, though.
That's obscure.
That's a good one. The Ice and Snow Festival. Look back in on Switzerland, Korea. Another, and with lots of rocks and play, 2 stones in the 4-foot for Korea. So final stone here for Vania Felcher. It's a tough one. She's going to need a piece of the button by the looks of it to score a point. She's by the guard. Makes the hit. Never going to get to the pin on that angle, though. It's a steal of 1 for Korea. Kim Un-jung closes it up. 3-2 after 3. We'll keep an eye on that one for you. Korea looking to cement their place in the final 6. Following up from their outstanding Olympic performance. Silver medalists. Zhang Xindi. Looking for a piece of the rings, but it looks like it's going to come up about a foot short. So what does Gaspari do? Kind of tempting to duck half around the stacked guards, but it looked like she was going to make a guard on her own shot rock. Two basic options there. That stone in the front 8-foot, Sandra, if she guards it, she does run the risk that China could just draw around the corners for shot.
To draw a little high guard halfway, I might
take both of them away, maybe.
Yeah, kind of choke the intern, draw her in the corner.
Sandra Rilvag, 2 for 1, always thinking.
Only thinking about curling anyway.
Stefania Constantini, 78% for the week at the second position for Team Italy. Also holds the brush. Diana Gaspari is throwing the final stones.
This is well wide. If anything, you would want to show the outside of the shot zone, the right-hand side as we see it. So China can't play the hit and roll in behind cover, but this one's slipping into the rings. Didn't have the line, so might as well come in. Took a lot of ice there, Gaspari. Edge of 12.
So a couple of options now for China, well, 3 at least. You can make the double takeout, you can hit the top stone and roll, you can hit the back stone and roll.
Straight draw.
Straight draw. Draw around these two. A lot of options. They've got last rock. Trying to generate something here. Zhang Xindi.
I think hit and rolls are the right call here. They are just 2 down very early in the game. No need to take any unnecessary risks. Try and open up the center here, bring the player over to the corner. This is a nice roll.
Has it just spun a little bit out into the open though, around those corners. Great try from Zhang Xindi. Got the roll. May have rolled a fraction too far. Here's the roll. Wanted to stop right there behind that red one. Just pops out.
This is the thing a lot of teams don't realize. If you roll too far, you force your opponent to play out in the wing, and they might hit and stick there. Now essentially is open up the whole of the 8-foot for you to draw around the corner.
Right.
If you don't roll far enough, your opponent can hit and roll back to the center line. That's not possible for Italy here. And they'll actually end up missing it completely.
My goodness. Zapponi steps up the weight. And as we've seen all week, you step the weight up, it will run straight. Blows right by the Chinese rock. Great chance now for Wang Rui to once again punish a mistake. This is the draw, needs to get by that top stone. Now they got to get by the second one. Clip the second stone. Didn't look like that second one would be a problem if you get past the top one, but she actually wrecks on the second of the corner guards. Stone just needed 2 feet of weight and it would have been outstanding. As it is, it sits in 3rd shot position. Maybe a 3rd available from there, Sandra. Is she thinking double takeout? To get what you can see, maybe you make the slash double.
Yeah, but playing it soft weight here though to try and keep the shooter. If you throw too soft though, you might not even kill any of the reds.
Yeah, you might have 2 stones in motion. You could lose a lot of momentum. You also lose momentum when you hit it on an angle. By the guard. Gets it to the nose. China's still lying 1. Now do you play the hit and roll instead of the draw? Chen Yilun is a little bit worried about that stone at the top of the 12-foot center. Deciding it's better to get in there first, I agree. Hit and roll is the call. Wants to hit this stone, roll to the right behind the guards. Zhang Xindi hit and roll earlier in the end. Rolled a bit too far. Can Wang Rui make the hit and roll here? Just not quite enough. Slightly overswept.
It's not bad there.
It was close. Rui saying, I thought it was there. Didn't quite finish. Sits in the open for Italy to make a play.
The good thing here for China is even if Italy makes the hit and roll, they won't be able to get shot stone.
It's true.
It's tough to get to the inside as well. And even if they nose hit, you can even draw around it.
Is there a chance she might be able to get a little bit of action off that stone in the top of the 12-foot though, Sander? If she goes on the inside, it might clip the back of that yellow one, do you think? Squirt a little bit forward? The play is definitely to get to the shot rock first. That's the first task for Diana Gaspari. She doesn't really want to flirt too much with the Yellowstone, otherwise she could crash the guard. She's shaking her head away. She doesn't like it. Well, not much to dislike there.
That's pretty good. Leaves a bit of a stagger.
That's right. Makes those Yellowstones much more difficult to promote. Do you draw around here, Sander?
Most definitely.
China has last rock here on the fourth. If they can zip one in around those top two Yellowstones to lie two. Be a very difficult task for Italy to prevent a score of 2.
Probably nibbled the forfeit fully buried here. It's pretty good.
Genuine.
Possible.
Yeah, that would be position A, wouldn't it? Just want to slide behind the tee line and give Gaspari a chance to follow it down. Sweepers are really working this one. I'm worried about the weight. They think it's light. Making a move now. Great brushing by the team. They get it into second shot position. Not under cover, but great brushing there. Let's look in at USA Denmark. 2 American stones, one on the button. Angelina Jensen of Denmark. Some desperation in the sweeping calls here. Rex on the guard. It is a steal. USA steals 1. They're up 3-0. Diana Gaspari trying to remove at least one of the Chinese counters. Well swept, but does she push it out of the rings? No, she doesn't. Just got that little bit of action on the front stone, killed the momentum, and now China. We've got a chance to draw for 3. Stone just over curled. A piece of the Yellowstone killed the momentum, set rocks in motion, but left 2 Chinese stones sitting first and second shot. What an opportunity for Zhang Yilun. Just needs to draw the 8-foot. We will put the clock on it for you. We should be looking for something like 14.3 seconds hog to hog. That seems to be T-line weight this afternoon. There's the second hog line. We'll stop the clock. 14.5. That should be pretty good. Sweepers just keeping the momentum, but no problem there for China all the way into the button area. It's a score of 3 for China. After trailing in this match, China with a big 3-point end gives them the lead for the first time in this game. It's China 4 and Italy 3. We are live at the Ford World Women's Curling Championship 2018. China now with a 4-3 lead after that big three-point end. Italy making an error with their last stone of the fourth. And China cashed it in. Zhang Yilin. Comfortable draw. Just needed full 8 foot. Put it right on the button. So Italy now has last rock here in 5. Giada Olivieri, lead player for Italy. Stone's in the rings, no protection of the free guard zone, so she can hit. Wants to stay in the rings, it does. Nice shot. Yan Hui. This young Chinese team. To stick around, this one's just going to flop off and touch the sideboard. That means it goes out of play. Next Winter Olympics will be in Beijing. The venue for the curling event will be what was the Water Cube at the Beijing Summer Olympics, where the swimming events were held. They're converting it. That will be the venue for ice sports curling at the Beijing Winter Olympics.
Any chance they're calling it the Ice Cube?
If it was New Zealand naming it, with our imaginative place names in New Zealand, like the North and the South Island, you would definitely call it the Ice Cube, but I'm not sure if that's what's going to be called in Beijing. But China are preparing already to host the World in Beijing, and as part of that preparation are making a big investment in winter sport participation, not just for their elite athletes, but for the general population. They're developing ski areas, they're developing ice hockey facilities, skating facilities, and I don't know if this is true or not. I've just seen in one news account that there are plans to build 500 curling rinks in China between now and 2022. All in an effort to try and get the general population of China involved in winter sport participation. It's really ambitious. Stone again rolls out of play. Let's look in at Switzerland, Korea. The Swiss scored 3 in the first end of that game, but look, again, Korea. Stone on the button behind cover. Tough final shot here for Minia Felcher.
Trying to end off for the big score. Coming off this wide stone.
Coming across, but will just go behind the Korean stone. That was close. Needed to hit that one a little bit thicker, but it's another steal for Korea. That one's tied. Living dangerously, but they come up with the steal. Team Kim become incredibly popular in their home nation of South Korea. After their Olympic success, they've appeared on variety shows, they're in television commercials, internet sensations, K-pop concerts. Became instantly famous during the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. I've shared this statistic a couple of times during the week, but it just boggles my mind so much I'm going to share it one more time. In terms of television viewership, the semifinal game in the women's curling event in Pyeongchang, Japan versus Korea, was watched on television by 43% of the entire Korean population. Not just the people with televisions on, the whole country, which is amazing. 70 million people in South Korea, 43% of them are watching a curling game. Mind-boggling. Nose hit. A lot of those viewers, of course, brand new to the sport, curling. Not a very well-known sport in Korea before the Olympics, but the population jumped on it immediately. We watched it unfold before our eyes. And it's quite a phenomenal thing. Korean skip Kim Eun-jung uses her players' first names as sweeping calls. The front-end players are Sun Young and Young Mi. So when she's calling sweeping, she'll often be calling Young Mi, Young Mi, Young Mi as a sweeping call. And a lot of people in Korea thought that's a term in curling now. That's how you call sweeping. So Young Mi instantly became one of the most popular names in Korea during the Olympics, just because of curling sweeping calls by Kim Eun-jung.
I think I've seen some videos on the internet. Sweeping in the office.
Yes, Young Mi.
Calling, screaming Young Mi. And
yeah. It's a wonderful thing. Trying to get around this guard stone, is just going to sit beside it.
Looked like a blank, but now I'm not so sure anymore.
Looking quite barren, you're right, but now 2 guard stones and a chance for the Italians to switch gears and maybe think about scoring their pair. Tap their own forward, tuck it behind that guard. Veronica Zapponi. Missed a hit in that 4th end that contributed to that score of 3 for China, so she'll be looking to make up for it here with a nice little tap. Promotes it onto the rings. Don't like that another 2 or 3 feet deeper, but the Italians are line 1, but it is now a really short race for China. Zapponi. China will just be looking to run that red stone back on the yellow shot in the circle. Just try to hit this one a little bit off nose sander and try to roll the raised stone and the delivered stone, line them up.
Yeah, probably not catch it too thin. Might kind of leave a corner guard with the shooter and the shot stone exposed. So yeah, just a couple of hairs high. Might leave the shooter as a center guard and the stone they're running into the house. Most importantly, kill the ill.
That's definitely job 1. Really working it. I think it's over curled and then goes by the Italian stone. Oh, good chance now for Italy to set up their deuce. A wry expression on the face of Jang Yi-lun. She knows if you're going to miss it, that's not the way you want to miss it. A little bit of room for error on the high side, but curls across, leaves the Italian stone on the rings. And all of a sudden, Italy is in business.
Good setup for 3 here.
What would be the best play if you were thinking 3 instead of 2?
Come around the center guard. They're now talking about maybe drawing the wing, feeling it's a safer 2. If they do, could see China just come around everything. Kind of like them coming around the center on this occasion, actually.
I agree.
Just because the double is pretty hard, you can't see all of that top yellow. Didn't look like it anyway. So if China ends up just peeling the top one, then you can come around half staggered. You get all the Christmas tree effect. And 3 is all of a sudden in play. Well, we'll see if China hits the open one here. Depends a little bit where this stops. Wanting this back of the house, so the hit and roll for a shot stone and behind cover isn't there for China. Seeing how the shot stone's topped well, might as well bring this one as far back as possible. All the way down. Leaves it high enough for China to make a hit and roll in behind cover for shot, so we'll see. I'm actually eyeing up the double raise.
Why play an easy hit and roll when you can make a angle raise double takeout? Gaspari surveying her work. And there's the angles the Chinese are looking at. They're saying if we hit that yellow one, yellow onto red, does it make it? Does it kill both of the yellow stones? I'm not sure that it does, Sander. I think it would just pop across the top of the shot stone. High risk here.
Throw hard enough, you take one yellow out.
You definitely remove one stone, no doubt.
Thinking the hit and roll, very hard to make the roll. You're most likely giving up two on that. Clearly not wanting to draw around to give up a three.
Interesting call.
Yeah, it's fine by me. I think it's close.
It's going to be entertaining anyways. We're going to see rocks flying. It should be fun.
I think it's close. But
right where he lines it up. Here we go.
Just throw it hard enough. Hit a good chunk of the stone. It's not big weight.
No, it's not.
Honestly.
Oh, fantastic shot. Zhang Yilun reading the angles perfectly. It does go across the top, but it clips the Italian stone on the way by. Watch this. Bingo. Shot of the game.
Yep. I was there all day.
Terrific shot.
Threw enough weight to.
Leaves her own stone in the rings as well. Gaspari's going to have to make a play on it. Terrific shot.
I'm sure Italy didn't see that coming.
Great vision to see that shot. Exactly right, Sander.
Italy will be happy enough if they can make this shot, though. Blanked in, that was what they set out to do in the first place.
Perhaps ruining that decision to draw to the wings instead of behind the guard, however. And it is a nose hit, so it's a force for China, a single point for Italy. That ties us up right back where we started. We are at the halfway point of this 10-end contest after 5 ends of play. China 4 and Italy 4. Our feature game, China versus Italy in the first end of play. It's an open hit for Italy's Diana Gaspari. Noses it, sticks around. Italy lead it 2-0 after 1. Third end action. Red stones belong to China. Putting the heat on Diana Gaspari. She needs to draw into the forefoot to save a single point. Puts it right on the lid. Great shot. Italy leads it 2-1. Fourth end. Opportunity now for China to take the lead. Lying 2, it's a draw for 3 for Zhang Yilun. She converts, throws that one on the lid, and China take the lead for the first time in the match. 4-3. At the fifth end break, It's tied up at 4. Looking in the other games here in session 16 on a Thursday afternoon in North Bay, tied up in 4 in our feature match. USA in a crucial match for them, leading Denmark 4-0. Czech Republic and Germany, very low scoring game. They're in the 6th end. Score in that one is 1-1. Also a tied game between Switzerland and Korea, tied up at 3 after 6. China discussing tactics the first half. Juan Ray having a little rest. Team Italy having a little snack. This one's evenly poised. Tied up at 4. Angela Romay, alternate player this afternoon. She's been on the ice in other games at the lead position. Reassuring support for her teammates. Let's look at the stats at the halfway point of the game. Not much to choose in the shooting percentage department. Slight edge to China. No stolen points so far in this game. That big 3-point score in the 4th end by China, bringing them into the match. They were trailing by 2 at that point. And this one, dead even at the North Bay Memorial Gardens, could go either way. Hans Frauenlaub here with Sander Rolvag. That's what we're playing for here in North Bay. World Championship trophy. Returning to action here inside the Memorial Gardens in North Bay. Sander, what are we thinking about for the second half of this game? Both of those teams would have thought they had the edge going there in the first half, but we're all tied up.
I think there's been a lot of chances back and forth, so it's just really down to who's going to grab the chance and maybe try and protect the lead a little better. It's sometimes as easy as saying make more shots than your opponent. And definitely the key shots here.
Yeah, that's sound advice.
Just take your chances. Try and penalize your opponent when they make mistakes, as always, because we know there'll be some. Both teams have all a little bit scrappy in the first half, so whoever can just raise their level just a tiny bit, they'll come out on top here.
China have got last rock here in the 6th end. Yang Hui, a little bit above her tournament average this afternoon in accuracy terms. Wanting the stone to stop in front of the ring so it sits in the free guard zone area. It does. Good situation for China with the Italian stone deep in the house. Lots of room in the scoring area. Chiara Olivieri. A team very near to qualifying for the Winter Olympics through the Olympic qualifying event. Didn't quite get there. Yan Hui. Chance to make a double takeout and maybe roll behind the corner guard as well. Jams it, gets the roll. Maybe a corner of it hidden. Takes the play nearer that guard anyways. It's under an opportunity here to talk about our new playoff format here at the Ford World Women's Curling Championships this year. It's the first time we've got a 6-team playoff. Explain how our playoff system is working this year.
Yeah, pretty much top 2 teams goes to the semi-finals, get a bye. And teams ranked 3 through 6 all play in the quarter-finals. I believe 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. And whoever's rank 1 will play the worst ranked team to come out of the quarterfinals.
Lots of excitement. There are no tiebreakers, tiebreaker games this year. If the direct teams are tied for the 6th and final playoff spot in win-loss record terms, first tie break would be their head-to-head record against the other team. So if 2 of the teams were tied for 6th place, whichever team won the round-robin game between them would advance. If there happened to be 3 or more teams tied for that final playoff position, and it's impossible to separate on head-to-head win-loss records, the secondary tiebreak is the draw shot distance that the teams throw before every match. So the tie breaks are always settled through on-ice performance.
Yeah, some missed the tiebreakers, but I'm quite happy to see them going. I mean, it's 12 games. If you don't win enough games to get there directly, then there's a chance you're out. And now in the last 4 or 5 years where we had 2 draws per team per game, that's a lot of draw shot challenges. All the team members having to participate in it, and it's now part of the game. So it's more than enough to separate teams. So if you don't make it to the playoffs, you just have to play better next year. That's all I can say.
That's very well said, and I definitely agree. It's all determined by the performance on the ice in competition.
Also like the playoff format here, because it's kind of a mix of the page playoff and the straight semi-finals you see at the Olympics, whereas if you are at top of the standings, you do get a big advantage come with the bye to the semi-final, but we don't have the second chance that we had in page playoff, meaning we'll have straight knockout games and we'll have 4 of them, right, and then medal games. So it's it's going to be super exciting.
It's much clearer to understand for the fans once we reach the playoff stage. Pretty simple. You win, you keep going.
Yeah.
Stones beginning to accumulate here on the 6th end. Jang Shin-Di. The first time that there are 13 teams at the Ford World Women's Curling Championships. There will also be 13 teams at the upcoming World Men's Curling Championships, which will be held in Las Vegas, the USA. This year, that means that there are 3 member associations from the Pacific Asia region participating for the first time in this women's tournament. That is Korea, Japan, and China. Veronica Zapponi. Member associations qualified to get to the World Championships through a regional qualification system. In the Asian region, it's the Pacific Asia Curling Championships. In the European zone, it's the European Curling Championships. And in North America, there isn't a North American Curling Championships, but there is an America's Challenge. So the 2 teams from the America zone, Canada and the USA, the lower ranked in terms of the international or the World Championship performance. Each year they are subject to challenge by any of the other countries in the Americas zone of the World Curling Federation. This year, Brazil challenged Canada. Canada won that Americas challenge, and so the Canadian men advanced to the World Men's Curling Championship. It's just reflective of the ongoing growth of international curling. There are now 60 member associations in the World Curling Federation, and participation right around the world continues to grow.
I believe Mexico and Guyana is in there as well, so they might start to challenge for the spots too.
That's exactly right. I did some analysis of the history of international curling, and I was looking at World Championships in the late 1970s, early 1980s, when there was a 10-nation event. At that time, there were only 16 nations attempting to qualify for that event. So out of 16 countries worldwide trying to get to the World Championships, 10 of them got there. Now we're in a situation where we're in the mid-50s in terms of countries attempting to qualify, whether it's through a European C, B, or A event, or the Pacific Asia Curling Championships, or the Americas Challenge, to try and get here to the World Championship. So field size expanding from 12 to 13 is the small reflection of that huge growth of international curling.
Soon it'll be like the World Cup of football. We'll have a stadium with only the one sheet and 50,000 spectators, and you'll have to travel to different cities to watch one game at a time.
That day may come. That day may come.
It'd be a very intimate arena.
It would. Stone rolls just out of play. Constantini sweeping that one through the rings. Playing in number 6. We're all tied at 4. China with last rock. Wang Wei.
A great end to score for China. Again, just looking at the scoreboard, the even ends, the odd ends. There are, of course, more even ends left in the game. So keep scoring with hammer. If you're China, you get to score more, well, once more than your opponent, and that's the thinking. Also, most teams like to have the last in advantage for the final end. Number 10.
Ducks around the corner, sits in the back 12 foot. Yeah, the development of international curling skill from China has been quite breathtaking, really. Didn't start competing until the early 2000s. At that point, nobody in the world knew that there was any curling at all happening in China. They entered their first international event. 7 years later, Wang Bingyu is a world champion, 2009, so incredibly fast progression. China's men's curling has progressed as well. Lu Rui, Ba Dejin, a number of really high quality players in China.
Yeah, placed 4th at the Olympic Games in Sochi 4 years ago. Very close.
Gianna Gaspari, 80% for this game. By the guard, trying to come down to that Chinese stone in the back ring. Sits right in front of it. And it's amazing how often she makes those freezes. Slightly over curls, but out counting that Chinese stone. Just the tiniest bit of separation between those stones. So on the numbers on top of the rocks, that lets the players know which of the stones they're throwing. The players generally, not generally, always have a pair that they want to throw right throughout the game. That way there's no variation. They always know it's the same 2 stones they're throwing. Italian stones in the rings behind that tee line. Big weight here from Zhang Yilun. She's trying the flat double, Sandra.
Yep, I believe so. Hit this center line stone, jump across, try and move the second one.
Removes her own rock, leaves her stone sitting in shot rock position. It's pretty ambitious. That was a really flat attempt. Had to propel her own stone almost sideways. That's why she threw such big weight. Had to hit the target rock almost on the nose to, just off the nose to have a chance at making the double. Let's see if Gaspari draws down to it again.
Però ha paura di smaccare. No, mettiamola lì, tanto l'hai già appena fatta. Se anche arrivi ancora in mezzo c'è lo stesso, Sì? Sì, sì. Ok. Allora, sono arrivata qua io, no? Col ghiaccio dove? No, un po' di più.
Good news for Italy, Sandra. She's got some options, doesn't she? She could just freeze the Chinese stone. She could push it back 6 inches in line 2.
Could have just come after it and just
pick it out.
Picked it out, but just played this draw, so I think she'll feel pretty comfortable with playing the same shot once more, just maybe taking a bit more ice this time. And yeah, you can always sweep for the bump if it's starting to move. But freeze in the pocket's pretty good, you get the force.
Zhang Yilun was looking on as her opponent Diana Gaspari lines this one up.
Will in fact come down and just push that red stone out.
Importantly, pushes it off the ring, so no danger of a double takeout for 2. Gentlest of takeouts. See that stone clinging on. Just has to be touching a tiny piece of that paint, so this is actually China looking at 3 here. Looking at her overhead. I think that stone on the right-hand side as we swivel around. That one maybe on the rings as well. Last stone on its way then for China's Zhang Yilun. Playing a shot against as many as 3. Sweeping for curl. Needed to stick around. Oh, very nicely played, right on the nose. Single point for China, but a force for Italy. China back in front in this tight game. After 6, it is China 5 and Italy 4. Welcome back inside the North Bay Memorial Gardens. It's the Ford World Women's Curling Championships 2018. Feature game is China and Italy. China with a single point. Take a 5-4 lead into the 7th end. Italy with the last rock. Thursday afternoon in North Bay. Spring in the air. Winter still hanging on. Hans Franlop here with you. I'm joined by Sandra Wilbag. Match continues to be a tight one, Sander. Nice shot by China to score their one, but Italy will be pretty pleased with that force, won't they?
Yeah, now a chance to play for the blank. Not sure if China's calling these stones in or if the center guards are just slipping into the rings.
I think you're right, though. Diana Gaspari, she won't mind at all. This would be a great end to blank, wouldn't it? Why would she be thinking about the blank?
Again, just looking at the scoreboard we mentioned earlier, where now 4 ends left. If everyone scores with their hammer, both teams scores twice each. If you blank it, you make it a 3-end game. Now you got 2 hammers against 1. Big advantage. So that is the main thought. Italy tried to do that in the 5th end, but Gaspari ended up nose hitting the attempt for the blank. And China again coming into the rings in the 7th, knowing that Italy played for the blank in 5. Bit of an experience showing maybe, or they're just happy to let them do it. I don't know, but it'd be really good for China to force Italy to take a 1-year tied game and have the hammer in even ends.
1 stone in the rings, no guards. It's made. Keeping an eye on all of the games going on here in this afternoon session, in particular this important game between Switzerland and Korea. Switzerland opened the game with a score of 3, but since then it has been all Korea. Stealing 2 consecutive ends and a chance here, Sander, for yet another deal. A tough shot here for Benia Felcher.
Kate Monjong made a perfect little hit and roll to take away any chance of scoring 2 for Switzerland.
Needs a piece of the button, facing 2. This one is going to slide a little deep. Another steal for Korea, and they take the lead. 5-3 now after 6.
Haven't scored since the 1st end, Switzerland.
Wow. It's kind of like that first end dropping of 3 was a wake-up call for Team Korea. Certainly been coming back with a vengeance. Nose hit there. Let's update all of our scores. Our feature game, China leading Italy's 5-4. USA with a commanding 5-0 lead in the 7th over Denmark. Incredibly low scoring game on sheet C. Germany and the Czech Republic are tied at 1, playing the 8th. And as we just saw, Korea stealing 2 to take a 5-3 lead over Switzerland. The importance of all of these games is reflected in the standings. 6 more playoffs, see the letter Q beside Canada and Sweden. They've qualified. They're at the top at 9 wins. Korea, this game this afternoon, really important for them to secure their playoff spot because they're being pursued by Russia, Czech Republic, and the USA. Japan at 4 and 5 also in the frame. This end very much shaping up like a potential blank. No guards, just exchanging hits. And if you're Diana Gaspari, in this situation where your opponent is quite happily trading hits with you, you're already kind of mentally drifting to, boy, I'm going to have to make that peel. You know what your last shot is likely going to be.
Yeah, you know you missed the last one.
That's right. That's the turn of Wang Rui to remove the stone in the rings. Pretty up and down, no chances being taken by either team. That first stone in the rings, and it's just been trading hits ever since. Stone's moving further and further forward as that happens, though. Almost out of the rings now. Nice shot by Wang Rui. She makes her way up to the house end. Pizzaponi. Germany-Czech Republic game. 5 blank ends in that game. Baseball season about to start in North America, and in baseball terms you'd call that one a pitcher's duel. Really low scoring game. Those are the kind of scores you used to get, Sander, back in the old days before the free guard zone, when you could just get a 2-point lead and just throw peels for the entire game. You'd get a few 2-1 scores, and that quickly became unacceptable to players and fans. Curling got pretty boring, and that resulted in the introduction of the free guard zone rule. Generate a bit more offense.
And that's why we're going towards a 5-rock rule next season.
That's exactly right.
Teams are so good now for needing to force to play even further.
Absolutely correct. The World Curling Federation will be introducing the 5-rock free guard zone to WCF sanctioned events next season. It's playing the 4-rock free guard zone rule here in North Bay. One of the last events, actually. We'll be playing the 4-rock free guard zone rule.
It'll be fun to see how next season then shapes up. I'm sure some teams will have an advantage.
It will be interesting. The 5-rock free guard zone has been played in tour events. Here we see the free guard zone. It's the area between the hog line and the house. The stones, first 4 stones of the end, if they're thrown there, you can't remove your opponent's rock. You are allowed to remove your own rock. You throw one there, you don't want it there. Next year, a 5-rock free guard zone. More rocks at play, more chances to get around and hide. Higher scores, more offense, and a bigger chance to, in theory at least, claw back a lead if you're trailing. Easier to steal with the 5-rock free guard zone. In theory, we'll see how the theory plays out. Nose hit by Gaspari. The blank end is still a possibility. Stone just off the rings as Zhang Yilun was making her way back. Just to the right, we saw earlier in the game she threw a nice corner freeze around a stone that looked like it wasn't even in play to generate a jam. She's trying to flop it to the right and maybe hide behind that yellow stone to the right of our picture. Just want to keep her stone in the rings, though. Doesn't want to give Gaspari a chance just to throw it through. Yes, whoa, yes, whoa, yes, whoa. Little outside roll. That is a fantastic shot. Wow. Beautiful. Had a tiny piece of the rings to roll to. Watch this. That is a fantastic shot.
Certainly taking your chances here.
Well, you can run your own stone back, or you could just concede to your opponent and say, well played, I'll just draw for the one. So the thinking here, Sandra, on the run back, this is the way you can get your blank, maybe? Chances are, though, if you hit a little bit on the inside, you roll your own stone into the ring, you wind up taking a point anyways.
Yeah, maybe a hair high if you can get the blank, but I think most importantly, just don't give up the steal.
Well, here we go after that awesome hit and roll by Zhang Yilun. Diana Gaspari was looking pretty routine, but nothing routine about this one.
Yeah, Yilun maybe getting some revenge. Same spot where she missed the shot in the first time to get up two.
She does roll onto the ring, so it is a score of one. No blank for the Italians. It is the force for China after that fantastic hit and roll. Italy scores one, but mission accomplished for China. They get the force and the hammer back in the even ends. After 7, we are tied up at 5. Back inside the North Bay Memorial Gardens. Time clocks in the background. We are at the Ford World Women's Curling Championships 2018. Our feature match, China versus Italy. We are deadlocked at 5. Hans Frauenlaub here with you, joined by Sandra Rovag. Fantastic force by China there in 7, Sander.
Yeah, just kind of came out of nowhere. Just able to make a beautiful little roll to the wing. So it's tied, eh?
It is tied.
Advantage China with hammer in 8.
Yeah, that's why that force was so important. Get the hammer back in the even ends. Not going to bury, so Zhang Yilun say, okay, bring it deep. Head-to-head comparison of the lead players in shooting percentage terms, a little bit of an edge to Yan Hui over Chiara Olivieri.
Lascia che ti fermi. È 2. Se non un po' di più. 2.
2 guards up. Game on.
No, Thank you.
Well, look here at our final score. USA, they pitch a shutout. Talking about baseball.
Well played. Thank you.
Big win for Jamie Sinclair.
Thank you for the game.
And Team USA 6-0 winners over Denmark. And that's as convincing as you get. Don't often see shutouts. This end shaping up in quite an interesting way. China's got last rock. Italy has 2 center guards. 2 Chinese counters are both behind the tee line. So both teams will be thinking about their opportunities. Italy will be thinking we're all set up to steal. China will be saying, well, we got 2 in the rings. They make a mistake, we can get 3. This one should be a very interesting end. Stefania Constantini. Looking to sit in front of the Chinese stone. Pretty good looking shot. Right on the lid, just back button. Corner freezes the Chinese stone and Jiang Yilun immediately. Constantini surveys her work. China saying this is looking dangerous, better get rid of these corner center guards. Jiang Xindi, 21 years old. Just misses the double clear. Had to curl a fraction more. Dead even in total shooting percentage. Xindi with a little bit of an edge in the draw department. Stefania Constantini. A little bit stronger on her hits. Two players with a very bright future in this sport. Constantini and Jiang. Stones are lined up in kind of an interesting angle now, Sander. Center guards are almost lined up to jam the stone in the button.
Yeah, jam or spill.
Yeah, might get a little bit of action. Narrowly clips it. Does the most important thing. Opens it up. Nice shot. Hoping for a tiny bit of action just to pick that stone and just wedge it sideways. Almost clipped it. That would have been a huge bonus. Double clear was the first job. So Zapponi now trying to reset the defense. Pretty nice guard. Maybe showing just a corner. Wang Wei with a decent edge in stat terms, especially in the hitting department. There's Wang Wei preparing to shoot. What's the play, do you think, Sander?
Well, just realizing if they keep building center guard, it's just going to come back on. Eventually, they might just draw top 8 or something and make it very hard for you to score. So they're going to come into the rings here. Not taking too much ice, so maybe looking to actually try and move the Yellowstone instead of freezing it. And that way also just opening up the scoring area a little bit. Maybe just running a bit straighter down here.
Just backing off it. They need a bit of contact to push this stone off the button. Pretty good shot. Unlocks it.
Leaves the pocket as well, though.
Yeah, it does. Quite inviting now for Diana Gaspari.
Anche se arriviamo qua va bene. 4 secondi. Sì. 4:15 è arrivato a 3. Sì.
I mean, this one is setting up Sander. It does have the feel of a decisive end in this game. One way or the other. Veronica Zapponi. Oh, she clips this front stone. Gets a nice result, though. Redirects it all the way to the button. Bit of good fortune there for Zapponi. Wrecks the guard, but look where it ends up.
Not a bad spot at all.
3/4 behind the guard, front of the tee line, covering your shot. Looking in again now, Korea, Switzerland. Korea has scored 5 consecutive points. Can Vinia Felcher stop the bleeding? Last rock for her here in the 7th end. Needs to hang around in the 4-foot. And they take a look at it, but it is a score of 1 for Switzerland. They close it up, but Korea gets the hammer back. China now with no option but to make some kind of play on the guard stone.
Run this back. Ideally catch the Yellowstone top 4 on the high side. The right, as we see it, might get all 3 going. This one's just over curling. It's gone.
Clears the front. Italy lie 1. Redstone, the 4-foot to the right of our picture, is second shot.
Deve essere sulla 6. Se è davanti lei ci arriva con un tap facile. Comunque l'hai spazzata bene perché ha fatto sì, meglio. L'hai spazzata bene.
Terrific look at it.
Ho esitato un attimo perché stavo
Forward logo in the center of the rings, the Yellowstone on the button. I think the play is just to replace the guard Sander.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good situation Italy had before that guard was gone. Not much China can do. They can draw in there maybe to get shot stone, but Italy just comes right on top. Then again, you'd love to steal if you're Italy.
It would be a fantastic end to steal if you're Italy. That would give you control of the even ends.
It's pretty good there. Maybe just long enough for China to consider coming around and tapping that stone. The shot.
Pretty even in the statistical department between the skips. Diana Gaspar having a nice game this afternoon. As is Zhang Yilin. A look from above. Yellowstone belongs to Italy. Hits the shot rock. Pretty well covered by that center guard. Is there a chance, Sander, that Yilun might be able to get to that front of the two stones and maybe just push it on an angle about a foot and maybe line 2? Or is she going to be just playing into the back and sit into shot position?
I think she's coming after the shot stone here, just try and tap it at least back of the tee line. Would love to keep the shooter in the top 4. A good chance Italy will just get another pocket to freeze onto, but at least you force Gaspari to make another tough shot. Oh boy.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Trouble, trouble, trouble for China now.
Rimaniamo con 2 comunque. Però se facciamo queste vediamo qua, lei c'ha
Now, if really, would you consider hitting the Chinese stone in the back of the forefoot and just spilling it away?
Yeah, risk reward. Throw a guard, it's almost a guaranteed steal. Yeah, make a good one. You could really put some pressure on Yilun by setting 3.
Poi lei forse può fare, se lei spizzica
lying 1 right now.
poi viene qui. Forse qui proviamo a metterlo lì. Cosa dici? Se no chiudiamo e basta. Beh, se ne rubiamo uno, lei forse prova quello sulla gialla. Però lei si butta
Look
dentro
on.
la roba.
You know, life just got way more difficult.
Boh, chiudiamo e basta. Io sarei contenta di rubare.
They haven't called timeout yet, but I wonder if they might. Big decision here. Nope, the decision's made. Just with that final broom wave, there's Soren Gran. Hasn't been called onto the ice, but he gives us a wave. How you doing, Soren?
Chiudiamo e basta.
And Angela gives us a wave as well.
Siamo ben contenti.
Italian alternate. Looked to me like the guard, Sander. Just a little bit of a wave towards the gap between the 2 red stones in front of the rings. And Italy is now going to call timeout. Waving all around the place for Team Italy. Looked to me like Gaspari got down to the shooting end. Got some input from her teammates saying, well, wait a minute, guard? Have we considered another shot? So they're going to ask Soren Gran to come onto the ice, and they're going to talk this one over.
Metterne un altro è difficile. Sì. We can close and still one for sure.
We're in one now.
Yes. Or if it's another way and hope the
To be honest, I think it's a good chance to try to lie more than one in this situation. The only thing we don't want to do is to no sit.
Yes.
I mean, you can even play the hit and roll behind as well, but you open up, you can, it's a risky space behind the tee, so you can,
No, we have to go.
I like the double.
Oh, the double. Okay.
Yeah, take the double, and if you stay here as well, it's not a problem.
Or roll out.
Yeah, no, but I mean, if you stay as well, it's okay. Yeah? But be sure that, the no sit is not good for us. Yeah?
No.
But of course, dare to play this one now. Really try to play the double and think double.
Okay. Allora, la aspettiamo.
There's the input, Sander. Soren Gran likes the double takeout.
Saying double, just wondering which double he means.
I think it's the double on the reds in the forefoot circle. They're going to have to flirt with that right-hand red guard to make a double takeout.
That's what I thought he meant, but I was thinking it'd be quite nice to play the hit and roll in, and if you end up rolling in and moving your own yellow in the back 4, it's not the end of the world. You'll still be sitting 2.
Target one.
And really only leave the pin. The good thing about making a play in here is that if you throw a guard, there's actually a chance to run that red corner guard in to make the double on the yellows for a multiple score.
Maybe get 5 in that situation, you're right.
So that's
some danger there.
Yeah, you might force China to have to play that shot. And if they make it, well,
lights out.
Pretty much. So don't mind this.
Well, here we go. Attempted double takeout here by Diana Gaspari. We heard Soren Gran say the only bad thing's a nose hit. She does not want to leave her stone sitting right there.
Yeah, roll in or out.
Makes it perfectly. Only thing that would have been better was spilling the Chinese stone out of the rings, but moves it to the back of the 12-foot. Nice shot by Diana Gaspari. Lovely reaction there. Oh, relief to get by the guard. When she's by the guard, she was fine. Quite close to it. Safely by. Net result, Italy is lying 2 guarded. So it's not a situation where the risk reward is actually worth the payoff of trying the angle run in to score 3 if you're China. So it's going to be a draw to the button for Zheng Yilun.
It's pretty tough too. You wonder if that corner guard might come into play.
Yeah. Saw how close Gaspari came on the hit. So draw weight's going to be moving even slower. And we're waiting for it. Has it cleared the guard? It's by the guard. Now it's about the weight. Needs to stop on the button. Oh, fantastic shot. Single point for China. Great clutch shot by Zheng Yilun. Maybe a game saver. Facing 2. Cool as you like. China leads at 6-5 after 8. It's a sunny Thursday afternoon in North Bay, Ontario at the Ford World Women's Curling Championship 2018. China versus Italy. China with a clutch draw to the button in the 8th end, facing 2. Huge shot. Probable game saver. Italy steals 2 in the 8th end. They get control of the game, but China with that fantastic last shot by Zheng Yilun. She's really caught fire in the second half of this one, holding a narrow 6-5 lead as we play the 9th end. Still anybody's game. Chiara Olivieri, the Italian lead. This one's going to slide past the tee line. Comes to rest in the back of that white 8-foot circle. Oh, interesting. Looked for a moment that China was going to hit the Italian stone. Bit of a chat, and now saying, nope, we will just draw around the guard ourselves. China perhaps thinking of force here. Have to get something behind cover to force Italy to get one. a stone in the back and let the Italians use that guard themselves. Maybe get a 2. Just grazing the tee line. That's the black line that goes left to right through the middle of that house, the painted rings. Call that the tee line. Chiara Olivieri goes around the outturn side. Counterclockwise rotation for the right-hander. Push the Chinese stone back, frozen on their own. Move the Chinese stone out of shot rock position, but they weld it on top of their own in the back of the house. Zhang Xindi. By the guard. Sits right on top of the Italian stone. Well, this is getting interesting, Sander.
Yeah.
Speaking of interesting.
Speaking of, yeah.
Korea, Switzerland. Korea with a 5-4 lead. Now it's the turn of Kim Eun-jung to face a tough situation on her last shot.
Tough wide draw here to come around everything.
Needs a piece of that red forefoot. Young me, trying to get a bit of curl. Just enough, it's a single point. Wow, that was close. Korea leading at 6-4. Constantini clears the center guard. So Zhang Xindi try to put it right back. Cat and mouse game, Sander. Who's going to blink? Italy's got last rock. They've got shot rock, but look at the Chinese stone right in front of it. Providing a tiny bit of cover. Gaspari immediately asking Constantini to try to eliminate it. Another nice clear. How long will China wait to make their move, Sander? All the way to the skips rocks? By make their move, I mean promote their own stone. Move the Italian stone out of shot rock position.
And when they do that, they'll be blind 3. And I don't think Italy is able to bring that yellow stone back from the dead, so to speak. It is frozen away. So you're just going to wait you want to wait as long as you can, but still knowing Italy might switch gears.
Right.
Because if Italy just keeps peeling the guard here, they know China's going to make that shot, and they're not going to have a chance to score there too. But now maybe a change in plan.
Stone coming a little deeper. Gaspari still wants to remove it, but this time she says, let's try to roll ours onto the rings as a possible saver. Maybe something to jump off if you have to, or something that might hang around if you're throwing a huge takeout later. Gaspari immediately calling for the sweep. Trying to hold the line straight. Worried about a nose hit. Gets the hit, gets the roll, bites the 12-foot. Nice shot. China displaying great patience. Again, now it's the turn of Wan Ray to try and throw a guard. Trying to know they can wait and wait and wait, but as Sandra Ovak just said, sometimes you can wait one shot too long, your opponent switches gears, plays the unexpected shot, and you're regretting not pulling the trigger.
It's just tough to know what Italy can do, though. There's not a lot of great options.
No, there aren't. If you draw the back of the 4-foot and try to get behind cover, and then China just hammers their own kills too. You're still lying 3. Play to the back stone. Leave yourself sitting 3rd shot.
Corner freeze.
Corner freeze of the red stone. We saw Gaspari patting her brush right on the center line, half around that center guard. That would create a better angle, at least for Italy, to make a promotion shot coming in from the side as opposed to straight back.
Obviously thinking if they peel a guard again here, China's going to make the move. Corner freeze works pretty well. Takes away the run back on the guard, because that's the only way China's now able to make that shot they wanted to do with the guard in place. So it's probably a pretty good call, but looking a little hot coming down.
14.2 on the split time. That's usually around T-line weight, so it is in fact going to slide back past through the button. Does come to the back of the 4-foot. Does it stick around for 3rd shot? I think it does just. But now the opportunity for China to make their play. Can they hit enough of their stone in the front of the 4-foot on the outturn side? They could maybe make a triple takeout, Sandra, and remove all of the Italian stones. Depends how much they can hit. Jane Yilun asking her teammates at the other end. How much can we see?
I think not very much.
No, maybe half a rock at the most. Hitting it on the outside will create a little bit of drag, though. It will send the yellow stone on the button a little bit to the right as opposed to coming straight back. Don't have to move the Italian stones that far. Call that the drag effect. When the stones are frozen together and you hit them on an angle. The logic tells you that the stones are going to go in a particular direction, but it's been shown if you hit it on the angle on the right-hand side as we're looking at it, pop that yellow stone, instead of going straight back towards the stone in the back, it'll just veer a little bit to the left. With that brush, though, it's not going to be very much weight. Maybe board weight at best, so it's not going to hammer these stones by any means. Interesting shot coming up here. It's dainty weight. Might even be a straight guard. Surely she's trying to move this rock center.
Yeah, just trying to tap it out of shot position. Trying to sit on top, though.
Got to get it by the center guard, though. No, clips it.
I don't think she had enough weight there.
No, that looked like just almost backline weight. Probably needed board to maneuver the rocks. So Italy living dangerously. They're lying 1. Path to the stones in the 4-foot now is wide open. For Italy, you know what's going to happen if you leave it there. China's just going to hammer it. Corner freeze doesn't really help you. You've already called timeout, so you can't bring your coach on the ice. Make this decision yourself.
Tap it and sit corner frozen.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the shot. Just tap the red a little on the center line side. Push your yellow stone back about 6 inches just to create a gap and change the angle. Very little overlap that makes it difficult for China to run the red on.
It's really good, but it's just very tough to make.
Tough shot. Yeah, tough shot.
Facciamo così, io tiro questa velocità qua, che se per caso perché qua carrerà un sacco. Se la liscio mi fermo
What you
qua.
do know is you
Qua sarebbe bene.
have to do something about those two stones in the front of the forefoot.
Questo, una qua, qua così, e
6
questa
minutes
anche
left of
qua.
playing time for Team Italy. We're in the 9th end.
Quindi comunque da prenderla qua, no?
A little bit of a factor, but 5-ish minutes to play one end, that's plenty. So no time clock pressure at all for Gaspari.
Spostiamo leggermente quell'angolo perché non mi piace. Quanto vuoi tirare? Un 8. Che noi
Considering just drawing to the forefoot on the in turn as well, to sit to, can also work.
Sometimes second shot is an excellent guard.
I think they're playing the shot we were seeing, though, all tap.
Wang and Jiang looking on, hoping that they get a chance to make a play on that red stone in the front of the forefoot, but Diana Gaspari is trying to neutralize that. Ever since China made that great freeze, this situation's been brewing for about the last 10 minutes.
Well, you're thinking tap when you're throwing here.
This one's got some heat, doesn't it?
Yeah, just added extra weight because she's thinking tap, but you don't really need to play anything more than a draw.
The way she's left the angles,
Giallo ancora. Giallo?
not perfect, but not awful either.
Un 3-8. Sì.
Had to do something, had to unlock those stones. She was hoping to be a little bit on the inside, wound up a little bit on the outside. Fun for China now. You promote yellow, promote your red stone forward. Look at all the yellow rocks. Your opponent's got last rock. If you leave your stone in a place where Gaspari could ever make a double takeout, you could drop 5 or 6. And if you were ever to push that red stone past the stone in the back of the forefoot, it'd be an open draw for 3. So. Intriguing 9th end. What will the play be? Redstone belongs to China.
I wonder if it's something similar to what was called by Italy. Old tap on the inside, set corner frozen, leave a stagger in front. It'll be hard to get to the shot stone for Italy. It's wide though.
It is wide. Sander is thinking they're going to try a little tap guard, but playing with fire here, sweeping to try and promote some curl. Gonna sit on the outside of it. Pushes the red stone onto the button, but has she left the slash double, Sander? Could you pick the red sideways, slash across the red, and maybe get 3? Or is it just an easier straight run to get 2? It's certainly... Or is that a shot for 3? Tap, tap for 3. Redstone belongs to China. The yellow stone in front is angled almost perfectly. What they're looking at, is there any way to get more than 2? Yellow stones belong to Italy. Red, yellow, red is almost automatic to get 2.
I think that's a goal. I can't really see much more than that.
It'd be a real gamble to play the slash double for 3.
I'm not sure if you can see enough. There's not enough air.
Yeah, you'd really have to get near to that center guard if you're trying that slash double. You're right, Sander, it's probably not there.
No need to throw this too hard. Just enough to push the shot stone out of the forefoot. If anything, you want to catch a little bit on the high side here, so it drags towards the red shot and not away from it.
Last stone on its way for Italy's Diana Gaspari. Trying a short angle double raise for possibly 2.
Control weight, catch half a rock here, should be fine.
Not enough weight to propel the Chinese stone out of the forefoot, and it's a steal. Had to get more contact on the front stone, just hit a glancing blow. China dodges a huge bullet, and they steal the point, taking a 7-5 lead into the 10th end. Tenth end underway here at the North Bay Memorial Gardens. We've got live curling coverage. It's the Ford World Women's Curling Championship 2018. Let's round up here. Sander Rolvag, our feature match. China versus Italy. China with an unlikely steal in the 9th end. Gives them a 2-point edge. Italy with the hammer here in 10. Final stone of Diana Gaspari had a shortish double angle raise to score 2. Just clipped the target rock and gave China the steal.
Oh, center guard from China. Seems like every time they need a center guard, it comes into the house. And when they should be coming into the house, they leave a guard.
Yeah, I would have probably preferred that one in the rings. You're right, Sander. It is at least a very tight center guard, but absolutely right. You can see immediately now. Spoke earlier about the free guard zone rule. You can't remove your opponent's stone, but you can remove your own, and that's exactly what Zhang Yilun is going to be asking Wei to do. Saying we don't want that guard. It's unusual to play a peel on your own shot, but that's what happens. Back to this key match, Korea, Switzerland. Korea leading at 6-4. Final rock on its way for Minia Felcher, already lying 1. This is a draw for potentially 2 to tie the game up. Line's not a problem. Howell and Kaufman are working it hard. Now Shorey comes out to join the sweep. Got to get it in front of the forefoot. Got to get it there. Oh, they just do. Thank you, sweepers. Tie game. 6-6 after 9. Two corner guards belonging to Italy. Really no realistic chance to make the double run, so Zhang Xindi tried to remove just one of them. Clips it thin, but gets the job done.
By not getting a stone in the forefoot, China are sort of relying on making every single peel from now.
Right.
But even then, 2 is very much in the air for Italy.
Corner guard is up.
quella.
So back again to cat and mouse. It's a tight corner. Are we guarding the guard? Are we stacking 2?
I'd prefer coming either around or throw another corner. Stacking the guard. Ever grouped them a double, game's over. So they are coming around.
Rallenta, ma siamo profondi. 14:30. Quanto? 14:30. Qua? Vai.
Stone sliding just past the tee line. Nice shot. Brava, says Diana Gaspari. Well done. Czech Republic leading Germany 2-1. It's a big one for the Czech Republic. They're in the playoff hunt, but Daniela Jentsch of Germany, last stone to send it to an extra end. Just need full 12-foot to force the extra. No problem there. Comes right into the tee line area. That one's going to an extra, and we'll keep an eye on that one. 2-2 after 10. China removing the guard, and Gaspari will ask for it to be replaced. Stefano Costantini now with the job of setting that corner guard. Pressure's backing off. Don't want it to over curl. Comes to rest on the logo. Interesting. Providing some cover, but it does over curl slightly. We can see about a quarter of it. So it's one of these either or shots, I think, Sander. Hit the stone in the rings or hit the corner guard.
Yeah, but playing soft weight though.
Yeah,
you ever just nick the guard, you might not even move it and bring the 3 into play.
3 is the number that China has to avoid. They're carrying a 2-point lead here in the 10th end. Safely by the guard. They get away with it. They remove the Italian stone, sit in the back of the 8-foot. Gaspari immediately saying, let's go around the corner guard again. A nice shot there by Wang Rui. Chang Shindi and Hyun Hui on the brushing, getting it by the guard. Nice job. Zapponi trying to draw behind the corner guard. Italy must score 2 to force an extra end. 3 would win them the game. Good weight, but do they have cover? Sweeping it as much as they can to try and get maximum curl. They've got some cover. Just about the same amount of the rock showing for China as the last shot. Same again, please. Wang Rui having a very nice game in the hitting department. Two excellent shots by Wang Rui in this 10th end. Crucial. Soft weight takeouts around the corner guard makes them both perfectly. China doesn't really need rocks in the rings, but if the price to pay for keeping a rock in the rings is getting a stone out from a partly guarded position, they definitely take it, Sander. Nice shooting.
Yeah. Now the freeze from Italy. They're going to have to work a little bit to get their 2 here. Falling is a little heavy. Yeah, we just tap the redstone straight back to leave a pocket. It's pretty good too.
Sweeping it for the line. They know they want to have contact on the nose. They do push it back behind the tee line. That's not a bad shot. Gives them something to work with. That's a question for China. How brave do you get? You're certainly going to make a play on the Italian stone. You'd love to clip the stone behind it, not jam it straight back, of course, but hit a quarter of it going by and you could maybe kill everything in the rings, and that would be fantastic for China. Italy would still go around the corner guard. The rocks behind the tee line, they represent a little bit of danger for China, even though that's Chinese granite behind the tee line. Zhang Yilun, big weight. Just picks it clean. So now will be the freeze. Gaspar immediately having her brush in front of the shot rock.
I'm not sure if the dead freeze is the best call here though.
A little bit on the inside perhaps and create angles, or do you just ignore it and go around the corner guard now and hope to have a chance to make a double or a triple on your last? Where would you go?
I think maybe you tap the stone at an angle back, try and set up a big pocket. Makes it harder to peel out. That dead freeze is going to have to be so perfect for Yilun to not just blast it out of there. Just tap that redstone level with the other one, slightly angle. Just make sure there's not a big enough hole to peel it through. It actually makes it pretty tough.
Cannot over curl the shot rock. That's the only place that's really bad for Italy. Obviously they have to get shot.
Tiny tap would be perfect here. That's just going to over curl.
Just fractionally over curls. So close to an excellent shot, but you see the sport of curling. It's a game of centimeters. If that thing is nose frozen, great chance for Italy to get the 2, but because it over curls just that much, corner frozen, Zhang Yilun just hammer this one on the nose to clinch the victory.
It would have been better to almost freeze that just side by side, just a millimeter on it. Would have left a jam on the back potentially. There's a few other spots to leave it. That's not the greatest one.
That'll do it. Italian stone is removed from the rings. No chance for Italy to score 2. They concede defeat. It is victory for China. Very nice second half of the game by Team China. Skip Zhang Yilun in particular played very well. China run it out, 7-5 winners. That's your final. China 7, Italy 5. Still a faint hope of the playoffs for Team China in that victory. They'll need some help, but they helped themselves this afternoon with that victory. Let's take a look at this critical game for both teams, in particular Korea. Tied up in the 10th end. Korea has got last rock. A victory would be so important for the Korean charge. Switzerland has called timeout. Now Coach Al Moore coming onto the ice.
What are the options? What are the takeouts? The heat or the finish? I don't know. I think for us it's easier to hit it, because otherwise we are maybe neutral.
Well, if you freeze, she'll probably play a draw. If you hit her in the nose, and stay right there for probably play a hit. And she'll have to stay. So what do we want her to play?
It's right here. I think more a hit.
Okay, well let's hit that on.
Was good on the
Let's hit that on the nose.
Okay.
Don't try and roll in, just right there. Yeah. Even if you roll an inch to the outside, hit it the nose and see what she does. Okay.
Also, Nase. Nase? Dat is Danny. Kijk. Wat heeft dat gevoel? Ze kennen dat niet.
After the conference, which basically was around what shot do you want Kim Un-jung to play on her last rock of the game. Kenia Felcher says, well, if she's throwing draws, great. I think I'd rather have her throwing a hit. Coach Al Moore says, radio, throw a nose hit. Yellowstones belong to Korea. Redstone belongs to Switzerland. Nose hit here would leave Switzerland lying 2 and would mean that Kim Un-jung would have a decision to make. Either draw the 4-foot to win the game or make a nose hit and stick yourself. So Switzerland playing the strategy that if you force Korea to hit, they roll out. You've got second shot, you steal, win the game that way. There's the hit. Rolls out to the edge of the 8-foot. Did what she wanted. Leaves herself lying 2. But with that little bit of an outside roll, she was hoping to tempt Kim Un-jung into making a hit and stick. But by that little outside roll, the entire 8-foot now open for Korea. And Kim Un-jung immediately patted her brush right on the button. She says, I'm going to draw.
그냥 1 정도 해야 될 것 같아. 근데 아까 그건 릴리 조금 있긴 했었어.
Needs to get it half inside that white 8-foot circle for the win. %77% on her draws. No draw bigger than this one right here. She's not happy with it. It's a hogline violation. Has the stone flashed red? Let's take a close look. The lights are flashing red. She did not release the stone in time. That's a foul. That's a burned rock. Switzerland wins the game on a hogline violation. Unbelievable. Switzerland. 8-6 winners. Unbelievable finish. The lights on top of the stones, there are magnetic detectors at the hog line that sense, will watch closely, watch the front of the stone and watch the expression of Kim Un-jung when she releases it. Flashes red.
Knap, maar was wat? Bij het eind.
One game remains. Germany, Czech Republic, extra end. That mind-boggling finish between Korea and Switzerland. What's this game going to bring us? Yep. Yellowstones belong to the Czechs. They've got the hammer. Redstones belong to the Germans. German stone frozen directly in front of the shot rock on the button. It's bit to Bodisova. Nose hits it. Chance now for Germany. Make a play on that little tap on that stone in the front of the button.
Wir dürfen halt nur nicht, off rollen. Wir müssen auf die Nase kommen. Off rollen dürfen wir nicht. Das andere ist, weil wir sollen jetzt anhängen und da liegen, dann müssen wir schießen zum Schluss. Dass wir den loswerden, ist auch okay. Oder? Daher mit dem bisschen ganz leicht nach hinten tappen. Ja, nicht zu viel, weil ansonsten hat es einen Double. Der darf wirklich nur ganz minimal. Ja. Aber sie kann halt den schnellen dann für beide Seiten wegbringen, deswegen. Okay? Dann gebe ich trotzdem noch mit einem Eis. So. Hey. Nur Ziellein. Rohrlänge und wirklich nur den Rest ein bisschen machen, würde ich sagen.
Czech Republic have the hammer in the extra end. Daniela Jędrzejczyk. Just T-line. Just bump the red stone just a fraction, just enough to push the yellow rock back maybe 2 or 3 inches. Right on the nose.
Ja, wir können auch so rum theoretisch auf den Dolly legen, aber es bringt uns halt auch nicht so viel, oder? Ich glaube, der ist schon besser. Ja, das ist es, ja.
2 rocks each to come.
Blinkt nicht, warum?
First skip stone of the extra end.
Jetzt blinkt er.
Anna Kovaskova, skip of the Czech Republic. She's got last rock, but she knows she's in a bit of danger here.
Das ist noch gut, muss noch können. Können, ja, ja, wow, können. Ja, ja, halt. Ja, ja, können.
Great line.
Wow.
Fantastic shot.
That's pretty good.
Exactly what she was looking for.
Super.
Red stone is now in shot rock position. Borisova taking a long look at it. You'd measure it if you're the Czech Republic, but I think you'd be disappointed. Nice shot.
Hard to do better, really.
Good news for the Czech Republic is you've got
Okay.
2 stones to come, not just 1.
You might say, oh, maybe you want it to curl just a tad more to get it perfectly angled. But,
Exactly.
But now this tiny stagger actually helps you as the Czechs are now playing the run back, because it's now angled away from the yellow. But by playing the run back here, it's actually going to drag to the left. So I'll jam more this way. So we'll see if how far these reds actually go.
Kovaskova needs to hit it on the high side, needs to get some action on the stones. Oh, great shot. Great shot. Leaves the German stone in the forefoot, but she unlocks everything. That's as good as she could do, I think, Sander.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect shot, really.
Ja. Ja.
Always going to jam the stone in the back, but importantly for the Czech Republic, unlocks all of those stones off the button area, opens up the button. She's got a path to the button on both turns now.
Vorne acht Beißer,
Great shot.
Dass wenn sie ein Double probiert, dass der dann vorne noch ist.
Seen Anna Kovaskova make some amazing shots this week.
Vorne
So
acht.
her making an amazing angle run in against Denmark.
4-0? Okay.
Score 3 and force an extra end. What can Daniela Jędrzejczyk do?
Linie ist gut. Hier ran.
Light flashes green. That's a legal throw.
Nur Länge, Linie ist gut.
Hier ran.
Vorne
Linie ist
acht.
super. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Vorne. Hierher.
Yep.
Hierher. Yep. Yep.
Nur Länge.
Hier dranbleiben.
Nur Länge.
Trying to sweep it, hold the line, because this one is over curling.
Trying to guard her shot rock, but this is indeed over curling. 4-foot available for Anna Kovaskova.
Ah, den haben wir da jetzt aber ganz
It's tempting,
toll
you could just
gelöst,
play
weil
the
der
hit,
liegt
but
richtig im Netz,
you
dass
could get
sie
sucked in
einfach
as
nur
well.
packen muss.
Actually ends up in a spot where it makes it a little tougher to make the nose hit. Don't have the whole stone really.
You really wouldn't, would you?
Zit er iets místa?
Got back in.
A nebo takhle? A tak mám dát trochu míň?
Jo, takhle.
Celý červený.
Actually going to play the out turn here, probably because she doesn't even want to think about the red ones. That and or just knowing this path better.
There's the coach and bench. Coach Karl Kubeski looking on. He can only watch. It's his daughter about to throw the shot.
Brad Askew on the left.
For the win.
She's missed one of these earlier in the week for the game.
Needs full forefoot. This is not heavy. 15-1, it's light. They're going to need to sweep every ounce of this one. It's curling away from the forefoot. It's a steal for Germany. Germany wins the game. Fraction light on that final draw for the Czech Republic. Germany steals the victory. Disappointment for the Czech Republic. Opportunity with the final stone to win the match. Coming up just like Germany in a low-scoring affair. 3-2 victors.
Once again, not able to make the forfeit draw in the next round. Anna Beskova.
Disappointing. Will affect their playoff chances, no doubt. China versus Italy in the sixth end. Last stone for Zheng Yilun of China, facing three. Makes the nose hit. Single point for China. They're trailing at 5-4. Two yellow stones belonging to Italy behind cover. So it's a draw to the button for Zheng Yilun. Past the guards, will it stop? Oh, great shot there. A game saver. Single point for China. Italy leads at 6-5 at this point in the ninth. Angle run in red, yellow, red for a 2 here if Diana Gaspari can get contact on that lead stone. Needs to curl, catches it thin, not enough to push the Chinese stone out. It's a steal for China. China with a 7-5 lead. In the 10th end, they'd run Italy out of rocks. China, 7-5 winners over Italy. Wrapping up session 16. China 7-5 winners over Italy. United States with an important 6-0 win over Denmark, keeping their playoff hopes alive. Germany steals the game in the extra end to win 3-2 over the Czech Republic. And on a hog line violation on the final stone, Switzerland 8-6 winners over Korea. Here's what it means for the standings. That loss drops Korea to 6-3, tied with Russia. United States now back into the playoff frame. Their win puts them at 5-4. Czech Republic's loss drops them to 5-5. Japan still in the playoff race along with China and Switzerland. Teams on 6 losses still have a glimmer at the Ford Worlds.
How did you think your team was playing today?
你觉得今天我们团队打得怎么样？ 我觉得我们团队今天的每一个队员都尽了自己最大的努力，然后把自己的能量发挥到最好，然后也打出了自己的自信。
I think every player of our team has played well today and show our power and our confidence and try our best to win.
Are you happy with your results so far this week?
你对我目前取得的成绩感到开心满意吗？就是从比赛以来这一周。
这一次的比赛到现在为止，我们还是很满意的，因为我们是第一次参加这个整个队伍是第一次参加这个世锦赛，所以这次来的话，我们主要是想学习锻炼，然后得到更多的经验。
Yes, we are just satisfied with all the results of the World Curling Championship, as we are the first time to participate in the championship. So I think our new team has to learn more and practice during the game. Yeah.
And you'll be ready for the Olympics in Beijing in 2022?
你们对2022年北京奥运会做好了准备吗？
我们现在只是做好我们当下，然后通过这段时间，然后通过这个比赛，把我们自己提高到一个更好的一个竞技状态的水平。
Now we are just focused on the present time, and through the game we can improve ourselves to a higher level. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that'll do it for us this afternoon from the North Bay Memorial Gardens. We trust you've enjoyed the action. We've enjoyed bringing it to you. I'm Hans Fraunlaub for my colleague Sander Rolvag and our entire production team. So long from North Bay.
Annie, let the rock under 5-5.